You guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, you need to. It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, and welcome to Mimesis, a podcast about all the twisted ways that art and life imitate each other. I'm Stacy Rourke.
And I'm Sandra Sheriff-Zackerly.
And we will be your hosts on this zany adventure. This is part 2 of our first 2-part episode.
American Horror Story.
That's right. And all the historical elements that those brilliant writers have weaved into it, making it one of my all-time favorite shows. I don't know where you stand. You're
I
right
love
there.
it. I love it. I haven't seen every season, but I still love every single one that I've seen.
Yeah,
except for the one.
That's the great thing about American Horror Story is that even if some of the seasons, and we all know who we're talking about, are not great, you know that something fresh and new is coming the next season. So
right.
And we will get to that. We got up to Hotel. That's where we're going to kick off today.
Yep.
But before we get into that, we have so much business to go into.
Yeah.
We've been busy little bees.
We have.
Yes. Our Patreon page is now up. Yay! For anyone that may not know what Patreon is, that is a way that you can become a member on the Patreon for a small monthly fee, and you get all sorts of exclusive goodies. And we've really packed in some cool ones.
We have.
Yeah, everybody that signs up is going to get an official Mimesis sticker. We have exclusive content that's going to be up there.
Yep.
We even have a couple of the episodes already ready to go. So those will be released just to our Patreons. We will be doing live chats with our Patreon members. And they are going to always have ad-free episodes.
Yes.
We are going to be doing ads here on the show soon. But if you don't necessarily want ads, become a Patreon, and that's a good way to make sure that you always are ad-free. We also have some Mimesis merchandise that's in the works, and by becoming
I'm excited about that.
I know, it's going to be so cool. My entire wardrobe is going to be all Mimesis stuff.
Mine too.
By becoming a Patreon member, you'll get merchandise discounts and some exclusive offers there too.
Yeah.
So, and now
I think the most exciting one is that they can talk to us live.
I think so. We're a hoot.
We're a hoot. You're a hoot? We're a hoot.
We are a hoot.
We are.
I mean, we both have our moments. I also think one of the best things that they're going to get is our nursery rhyme episode.
Yeah.
You guys, if you are on the fence about becoming a Patreon, you need to sign up just to hear. We did a episode about nursery rhymes and the real historical elements that they were drawn from.
Yes.
And we did this, 1 week after I had surgery?
I don't even think it was a week after you had surgery.
And I was on some serious painkillers. We were both so tired, and we've recorded this episode, and it is hysterical. It's just, it was a comedy of errors, but it's just, it's priceless. It's highly recommend just for the lunacy of it.
Yes.
Another thing we have, if you go to our Spotify page for the Mimesis podcast, we have listener support that you can send any kind of little donation towards us as a little, hey, good job, anything like that. And the reason we are doing the Patreon, the reason we have the listener support set up is because we want to continue to turn out content for you guys. We want to grow this into something amazing because we love doing this.
Yes.
And so those proceeds are going to go towards soundproofing equipment for us. It's going to go through new editing software for Sandra so she doesn't have to pull her hair out with the yeah.
I want to lately.
Yeah.
It's been intense.
What did you say it's been doing?
It just freezes, and then everything that I've edited is just gone, and I have to redo it again and again.
Oh, yeah. So we need some new editing software. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're putting these proceeds towards, is putting it back into the show to make the best content for you that we can.
Yes.
Now, if you want to help out, you want to become a Patreon, or you want to, do a listener support donation, cool. You don't really want to, don't feel, that's something you can do right now, that's fine. That's awesome too. Just keep on listening. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. All right. Is that about it? Did I cover all the business?
I don't know. I think so.
I think I did. All right. Well, I guess that means, and we really should get into this episode because holy crap. I was looking through how much we have left, and I'm really hoping. What?
I said we got a bit.
Yeah, I went overboard a little bit.
That's okay, because the show's good.
I love the show, and they put so much just rich history into it. And you know what? I feel like I'm doing the writers a disservice if I don't point out all these subtle little nuances that they weaved in, because it's brilliant and they deserve to be celebrated. So we have a lot left to do, and I don't want this to be a 3-parter. So this is a part where you tell me to shut up and get to the episode.
Let's go. Get to it.
All right. So let's do it. We are up to Hotel. Now, you cannot talk about Hotel without talking about the celebrity that just showed the world what she was made of in that season. Lady Gaga. We knew she could perform.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know she could act.
No, and she was spectacular.
She acted the shit out of that season. She was brilliant.
Yes. I would say Hotel is my number one favorite.
It's so good. And it has so much heart to it. And I also think that Lady Gaga brought a lot of that heart to her role.
Yeah.
And, it's really impressive that she did, because the person that her character was based on did not have a lot of heart. This person was the Countess Elizabeth Bathory. She was a Hungarian countess from the 16th and 17th century, and she was rumored to have killed hundreds of young girls and women. Some say she even bathed in their blood in hopes of it keeping her young. Yeah, so you see there where it ties into the blood aspects that they worked in. Yeah, well, we got more to discuss about this. December 26th of 1610, Count Grigory Theros visited Countess Elizabeth's castle under the king's command. It was well known that Elizabeth tortured and killed servants and peasants, and, some of the higher-ups, they might have even brushed that under the rug, and they
were probably there helping.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this is no big deal. But, because her title protected her. But see, the thing is, it was believed that Elizabeth had begun targeting the daughters of the local nobles.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So when she was torturing, her own servants and the peasants, oh, well, that's fine, whatever. She's just quirky. But when she went after their kids, okay, well, now we've got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what was it that Count Theros walked in on? The Countess was in the middle of one of her torturing sessions. Now, we have no way to know what exactly he saw, but she was known to shove needles under her victims' fingernails,
Oh,
tie them, tie them down outside, and then smear them with honey and leave them to be attacked by bees and ants.
ow.
She would bite off hunks of their flesh, not to mention just blatantly torturing them to death. In at least one situation, it's believed that she cut hunks of flesh off of a girl's body and then made her cook it and eat it. Hunks of her own flesh. Like what kind of mind even comes up with that? That's
A
some
sick
Hannibal
mind.
Lecter. Yeah, that's some
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter like twisted shit. I don't even. So, based on whatever it was that Thoreau's witnessed, Bathory and her cohorts were put on trial for 80 counts of murder.
Wow.
All were convicted, but only Bathory escaped execution. Instead, she was confined to a room in the castle with only slits for air and food. Now, she could not handle being alone.
It probably drove her insane.
Yeah, she only lived in that solitude for 3 years before being found dead in August of 1614. She couldn't handle it.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? Good riddance to her, because
Yeah.
see, she didn't have like the way Gaga played the character. She almost had a maternal side to her, and she
Yeah.
did some horrible stuff, but I mean, she wasn't cutting up people and making them eat themselves.
No.
Ugh. Now, the Countess's husband from the hotel season was also based on a real life monster. In this case, it was none other than Dr. H.H. Holmes. Holmes was an infamous serial killer of the 1890s who killed somewhere between 20 and 200 people.
20 and 200. That's a wide range.
That's a really huge margin for error. I don't even know. Might be 21, might be 199. We really lost
I
count.
don't know.
Yeah. Holmes constructed a home he called his murder castle that was 3 stories of blatant horrors. The upper floors were living quarters and 2 small rooms where he tortured and killed his countless victims. It could have been 18. We don't. Each room was armed with trapdoors and chutes that allowed him to dump the bodies directly into his basement.
Oh, that's crazy.
He was efficient. I will give him that.
Yeah.
So we've got, a couple of serial killers right there.
Yeah.
But you can't talk about the season of Hotel without talking about the building itself.
Right.
The building even becomes a character.
Mm-hmm.
And that was based on the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. That probably sounds familiar. They've got the Netflix documentary about the Cecil Hotel. Yes. There's a lot going on there.
I still need to watch that. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it's so good. That one. Yeah, that's a good one. Built in 1924, the hotel cost $1.5 million to complete and welcomed guests with its opulent marble lobby and stunning stained glass windows. Unfortunately, 5 years after its opening, the U.S. sank into the Great Depression. The area nearby the hotel became known as Skid Row, which was a last resort for transients, as up to 10,000 homeless people squatted within a 4-mile radius of the hotel. Yeah. And this is still just a horrible area there. The first death at the Cecil Hotel was a suicide in 1927 when a man named Percy Ormond Cook shot himself. It would not be the last. How many people have died there? The Wikipedia page says 17. Not too many. However,
more.
Yeah. In the Netflix series about the hotel, which is called Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, if anyone wants to check that out, The general manager, Amy Price, claims that there have been over 80 deaths in the 10 years that she's worked there.
See, that sounds more accurate.
That's just
than
in 10 years.
17.
Yeah, that's just in 10 years. And you take that back to the 1920s, and if that, you're looking at probably somewhere over 100 people total that have died there. It's also a hot spot for criminal activity, which is no surprise. I mean, it's a crappy part of town. Like, from prostitution to drug deals, everything is going down at this hotel. And there have been some famous names that you might recognize that have frequented there, including one that we mentioned from season 1, the Black Dahlia.
Really?
Yes. Just days before her death, Elizabeth Short was seen drinking at the bar there.
Wow.
What kind of shady individual maybe saw her there?
Right? Or somebody was mad that she went there.
Yep. In the 1980s, Richard Ramirez, who history knows as the Night Stalker, was rumored to have stayed there for a few weeks. He also has a Netflix documentary.
Did he go crazy there and that's why he started killing?
Oh no, that dude was crazy from a long way back. And we're going to talk about him later because he makes another appearance on American Horror Story, and we'll talk about him more, but that dude is sick. But it is rumored that he was in residence at the Cecil Hotel for at least part of his infamous killing spree.
Oh, wow.
There were people, I think it was in the Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel documentary, that said they would see Ramirez outside in clothes that were covered in blood. And he'd like strip down to his boxers in an alley and walk upstairs like that.
Nobody thought that was on.
At the Cecil Hotel? Probably not. The guy in his boxers, that they could just sweep under the rug. It was the people that were probably completely nude that they were like, okay, now that's a little too far. And oddly enough, Ramirez was not the only serial killer that stayed at the Cecil Hotel.
Of course not.
A man named Jack Unterweger was staying there prior to being accused of strangling 3 prostitutes in Austria.
Oh, so we didn't kill in the U.S., just
abroad.
No.
This was a travel abroad. Yeah, so this was not a good place to stay.
No.
Now, most recently, and this is the case that is highlighted in The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, Elisa Lam went missing from the Cecil. Video footage was found of her acting really erratically in one of the hotel elevators.
Yep.
This
is
yes, this is so. After guests reported that the hotel's water was brown and had a foul smell to it, the matter was investigated. Now, before I go further, I need you to understand that people were brushing their teeth with this water.
No, I don't want to understand this.
They were showering in this water. They were like, oh, it smells and it tastes gross, but, yeah. And then management went up to the roof where there were 3 water tanks, and Elisa, her body was found in one of the water tanks. Dead, had been there for a little bit, floating. There was a huge investigation. It was determined that Elisa was off her bipolar meds at the time, and she climbed into the tank voluntarily. Which is just heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah, but can you imagine brushing your teeth with that water?
No, I don't want to imagine that. No, nope.
And in the documentary, they talked to a couple that were staying there, and they'd brush their teeth with that, and then they found out about that. They were like, yeah, we checked out. I would hope so. Ugh.
No, really, don't chug bleach. That's
Don't
bad.
don't chug bleach. Don't do that. So there weren't actually vampires at the Cecil Hotel, but I think we can agree that the hotel's morbid history
Yeah,
was
it's got something demonic is going on there.
yeah. So that's the history elements of the hotel season, but I think we can all agree that that one was probably one of the best seasons that they did. It was so good.
It was.
Did you have any favorite parts of that one?
I all around just, it was all about Lady Gaga for me.
Mm-hmm. I also
whole
loved
thing.
Liz Taylor.
Yes. Yes.
Her story was so beautiful. Oh,
Yes.
well, following Hotel, we had the season of Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Now, Roanoke was based on an English establishment, which was established, in 1587. After only 3 years, all 117 residents of the settlement vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan carved in a wooden post. That's the history behind that season. And that is literally all I have to say about that season.
There's nothing to say.
There was so much they could have done with that season. And
I stopped watching after like the first 15 minutes.
it was not good.
Couldn't. And then I tried going on to the second episode. I couldn't. So then I just skipped it.
That was not my favorite season by a long shot.
Yeah.
But,
Like even Asylum. I didn't care for Asylum, but I still watched it all the way through until the aliens, and I was like, really?
Oh, now there's aliens? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I still watched it. Roanoke,
Yeah.
No. I couldn't.
I had a hard time. When I love a show, truly love a show, I will power through. That one, I powered through, but I won't ever watch that season again. I'm one of the kind of people that I will watch a show that I love numerous times. That one I'll skip. That's fine.
I do too. But I'm different. Like shows, I can just, no, I'm not, I can't watch this anymore. But with books, I'm different. Like a bad book, I will struggle through the whole thing and to finish
Really?
it. Yeah, I don't know why.
Have you ever had any that you're like, no, I can't finish this?
I think one, and I don't remember what it was. But most of the time I do with books finish.
I think it's because as a writer, I read and I write professionally all the time.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't grab my attention really quick, I'm out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's too much other talent out there that I'll just move on.
And that's why I feel like shows. Like I don't know why it's different for shows and books for me, but
well, good for you persevering.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Roanoke came Cult.
Yes.
And that one had a lot of triggers for people in a lot of different ways. What's oh my gosh, the phobia of holes.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, there's a name for it. If anybody listening to this knows, please tell me. But the main character had she had a phobia of clowns. She had a phobia of the holes, and all of those came through. And a lot of people, for many reasons, had a whole lot of problems watching this season. But it did have some good parts to it.
Triphobia?
Yes. It's something like that. It starts with try. I know that. Yes. Let's say yes, because I can't say otherwise. So yes.
Brings on feelings of disgust or fear when you see patterns with lots of holes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was in there. There was a lot of political aspects in this one, but the main character, Kai Anderson, was meant to be a blend of real life cult figures like Charles Manson, David Koresh, Jim James Murphy, and the incredibly talented Evan Peters pulled that off effortlessly. By the way, we talked about Lady Gaga. Can we talk about Evan Peters for a minute? He has so much talent. He could play
He does.
anything. He's fantastic.
He has a wide range of just awesomeness.
And I don't think he gets enough attention in Hollywood.
I don't think he does. I think it's only because he's on. I don't remember seeing him on anything other than American Horror Story.
He was on WandaVision.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was. That's right.
Because he was in the X-Men version of
Yes.
her brother's character.
Yep.
He was
Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro. Yes. So he was on WandaVision for a little while,
Yep.
which was very cool.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, we just went off on an Evan Peters tirade, but he deserves it, so that's okay.
He does.
There were also lesser known cult leaders that were also featured during that season. One in particular's name was Valerie Solanas. Now, history remembers her as the woman who shot Andy Warhol. Now, if you've seen that season, I'm sure you remember when that part came about. But her story did not begin or end with the Andy Warhol part. Valerie was sexually abused by her father and was pregnant twice before the age of 15.
Ugh,
Once
that's
by
terrible.
once by a family member and the second time by an older sailor. Both babies were given up to be raised elsewhere. Now, as Valerie grew up, she realized she was attracted primarily to women. Armed with this newfound sense of self, she began to thrive at school. Like, she owned this truth about herself and just went forward to conquer. Her high school principal even wrote a college recommendation letter for her that stated she was incredibly bright. This
Wow.
allowed, Valerie was rocking it for a while.
Yeah.
This allowed her the chance to attend the University of Minnesota, where she developed an artsy intellect and the strong desire to rage against sexism. Not just, contest it, but to rage against it.
Yeah.
She was enrolled in a Master's of Psychology program, but dropped out after a year to hitchhike her way to California, which in that time was a thing that, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
In the summer of 1962, she headed to Greenwich Village in New York in hopes of joining the bohemian art scene that was thriving there. In 1965, she completed her first play, which was called Up Your Ass. Yes.
What play are you in? Up your ass? No, I said what play are you in?
Rude, but yeah. Up Your Ass was about a lesbian prostitute and her off-color associates. Her zany group of friends. She tried to find a producer for it, including Andy Warhol, but everyone who read it found it to be a bit too lewd.
Yeah.
Shocking! Something called Up Your Ass is too lewd? Stop it. 2 years later, Valerie completed her SCUM manifesto. SCUM. Standing for Society for Cutting Up Men.
Okay, then.
Yeah. To some, it was a feminist call to arms. Others saw it as satire. They didn't take it seriously at first.
Yeah.
It was around that time that Valerie finally met Andy Warhol and approached him about producing Up Your Ass. I'm sorry. I'm producing Up Your Ass. I'm directing Up Your Ass. Like, I'm acting Up Your Ass. Like,
It just gets worse and worse every time.
I know. I'm ushering Up Your Ass. It just goes on and on. It never stops being funny.
Can't even say what I was gonna say because it just gets worse.
Oh, your face is so red. And we've lost her.
Terrible. I'm gonna edit this one out, but I'm shooting up your ass.
Do not edit that out. That is perfect. I'm shooting up your ass. Yeah. Oh, goodness. I lost my spot. Where was I? Okay. All right. So, where was I? Oh, producing Up Your Ass. That's what it was. So she approached Warhol about this, and he wasn't interested, but he tried to appease her by giving her a bit part, which paid like $25 in his latest production. The drama to follow could have ended there if Warhol had given Valerie back her copy of the play. He didn't
give it back.
He didn't give it back. So in her mind, he was trying to steal her ideas. So she waited for him outside on June 3rd, 1968, and shot him. Warhol was rushed to the hospital with a ruptured stomach, liver, spleen, and lungs.
Wow.
But he lived. But he was also forced to wear a surgical corset the rest of his days.
Yeah.
Valerie confessed to a Times Square officer that what she had done and was taken into custody. While she was in custody and, she was in the hospital and everything, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and spent the rest of her life in and out of psychiatric care. Solanas was viewed as the first female cult leader and was later found dead in a San Francisco hotel, April 25th, 1988. That being said, she would be thrilled to no end to know that in the year 2000, Up Your Ass finally enjoyed its stage debut at the George Coates Theater in San Francisco.
Wow.
San Francisco presents Up Your Ass. I'm starring in Up Your Ass. Okay. I know. It's never going to stop being funny.
It's
not. Now, the season that came after this is Apocalypse. And I don't want to brush over Apocalypse. I do want to talk about it for a few minutes. But in my research, there were no new historical elements that were weaved into it. There was a lot of...
It's in the future. It's a dystopian about the future.
Yeah. And it does callbacks to Coven. It does callbacks to Murder House. It does callbacks to those seasons.
But it really doesn't take you back to anything because we have not lived through.
Yeah. And it's got Michael Langdon is in there, who is the baby that was born at the end of Murder House. He comes back. And it was very well done.
It was.
Another thing that, and we haven't mentioned her yet, but she has done a few seasons of American Horror Story, and I think she is a brilliant talent as well, is Billie Lourdes.
Oh, yeah.
She is phenomenal. I mean, she has to be with, the lineage, the Hollywood legacy lineage that pumps through that girl's veins.
Yeah.
She's a born performer. But she is just such a natural talent. I love watching her.
She really is.
And she was really great in the Apocalypse series. That one was a very good one for her.
Yes. She was Mallory.
Yes. It took me a minute. It was calculating. She also, and I didn't touch on it in this episode, but they did the short story season where it was one episode per was a different storyline, and
I don't think I watched that one.
Some were better than others. I did watch them all because of course I did, but the season ended with a Billie Lourdes episode that starts off with a very Rosemary's Baby kind of vibe to it, but then it's got a really big twist in it, and she was nothing short of brilliant in that role. She did so good. If you watch nothing else from that season, watch her episode.
Watch that one.
Because it blew me away. It was really good.
Yeah.
But they did have other episodes in that brought back, they were callbacks to other past things that had happened. There's one that goes back to Murder House, and
I really liked Murder House too.
Well, that's where it all started. That's where that one was really good. So, Yes, Apocalypse was very, very good. And then after Apocalypse came 1984,
Yes.
which was a fun season. Again, Billy Lords was in that. It was very good. There was some other new talent that came in for that one. It was a fun episode, or excuse me, season. But I had a problem with 1984 for one particular reason.
And what's that?
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
They made him the love interest for Billy Lord's character. Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Why would they do that?
And I know she was supposed, spoilers, sorry, there's so many spoilers in this, but she was supposed to be crazy. He's supposed to be crazy. It's a very, natural born killers kind of thing. But this guy raped women and children, violently killed people of all ages.
Yeah.
In an incredibly gruesome way. I couldn't get behind anybody even wanting to make him appear as any kind of sex symbol. And
Yeah,
not
that's
just yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's not just everything that he did. Like, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
The worst part is everything he did. However, there's also some physical parts to this. This guy was known for never brushing his teeth.
Right.
He never brushed his teeth. He rarely showered. His victims that actually survive, one of the things that a lot of them are haunted by was like the stench of him.
Oh.
Yeah. And now to take this kind of person and make them anybody's love interest,
Right.
I had a hard time with that.
Yeah. That makes me think of the show, the show You.
Yes.
I can't think of the guy's real name, like the character. I can't think of the character.
Penn something.
I don't know, but he like posted, "Do not fall in love with this character. Like, this is horrible." Like,
he's toxic, very toxic.
Yeah, he's like, "This is not what you want to fall in love with."
Yeah, just because he always texts you back doesn't mean that he's a good guy.
Right.
If he texts you back because he's outside in your bushes watching you and critiquing everything you do, that's not something we want to shoot for, ladies. No, not at all.
But I mean, they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, this guy had women, when he was in prison, he had women sending him pictures
disgusting.
and letters all the time. Like half naked, fully nude, like he's sending him pictures all the time. Wanting to hook up. Where is the bar? Where is the bar for what you're looking for in a guy? If that's he slaughtered all of these people. He is accused of murdering 13 and committing 30 felonies, but I believe I can change him.
He said I was sexy looking.
He thinks I'm sexy looking. Okay. What are we doing? You can't fix him. You can't heal him. No. He's not a good guy. Just raise the bar just a little bit.
How about a lot?
Exactly. Let's raise it to never raped or murdered anybody. Can we do that? That's aim higher. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get off my soapbox about that. It could have been a great, here's the thing. Even if they had a character there and just made him a serial killer, but maybe not one that really existed. Just
right.
Make your own. Pop him in there. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox. It really bothered me. All right. So from there, we moved on to the double feature series.
I haven't watched that one either. Like, I feel like I'm missing out on so much.
You have so much left to do, but
I know.
that's okay because you'll get to it and it'll be great.
Mhm.
The first half of Double Feature, I was all in because it was about writers and it was set in Maine, which is where Stephen King is from. And it
Right.
had this whole vibe that really reminded me in some ways of the energy that season 1 had, where you didn't know who was good and who was bad and what was happening.
Yeah.
It had that kind of feeling to it, and I was all in. It was so good. And then I just felt like it just stopped abruptly. And then it moved on to the aliens half of the season. Excuse me. And what was that? Did you hear
Was
that?
your side? No. I
I
didn't hear
don't know.
anything.
It just went like staticky all of a sudden in my headphones. Oh, that was scary.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, so we
Is there an
had
alien there?
I hope not. I said aliens and now they're like they were like, go ahead, trash talk our season. Watch what happens. They brought in aliens, and I'm not even gonna lie. Maybe this makes me like a very simple-minded person.
They
I
brought in
watched
aliens
it.
in Double Feature again.
They brought in aliens again, and I kept waiting for them to tie the first half of the season in with the second half. Like, I
Okay.
watched all of the alien season thinking that we were going to have aliens versus vampires, and I was so
Oh,
invested. I thought that was going to be so
that
cool.
might be interesting.
And then they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't. And even in some of their graphics for the show, they had like the aliens and the dragons. There was no dragons. The aliens and the vampires together. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be vampires and aliens. This is going to be amazing. It's going to
So
be
they like literally stopped it and never like gave you any closure from the first half.
no, it was just done. And now we're moving on to the next half.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I was bummed out. But the first half of the series was, I had no idea when I watched this because, again, I thought this was just like a vampire tale. I had no idea that the main character in the first half of the season, the author, was based on a real person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a man by the name of Harry Gardner, who was portrayed on the show as a writer. Well, the person he was based on was not. Excuse me. Harry Gardner was not the name of the person. Harry Gardner was the writer on the show. The real person's name was Anton Tony Charles Costas, aka the Cape Cod Vampire.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a handyman and a cannabis farmer. Those are very odd spectrums there, but okay.
Yeah.
Like the character of Harry, the writer, Tony took a bunch of pills, which you haven't seen this, but spoiler alert, that's how they become a vampire, is it's an actual pill that they take.
Okay.
Tony took a bunch of pills and got all kinds of nutty. But he didn't just stop at pills. He threw in some LSD, basically anything else he could get his hands on.
So he was high and tripping. And
yeah, he was all over the place.
Downers and uppers.
The end result, he killed and dismembered 8 women.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of which were found with bite marks on them, which earned him the vampire moniker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as much, it's more poetic when it was the writer. Not that that would make it okay, but
yeah,
the fact that he
it's
was
never okay to kill people.
don't kill and bite.
Just don't kill.
Well, also don't bite.
I feel like I'm yelling at my toddler. Don't bite your sister.
So you say it to your toddler. I say it to my 160-pound Newfoundland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't bite hard. He just mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, The second half of Double Feature we talked about was based on aliens. And
Like Area 51 aliens?
yes, exactly. It was based in that time period. So
Okay.
there were a ton of cameos during that part. I mean, we had President Eisenhower, we had Amelia Earhart, we had the 1969 moon landing, we had JFK, Richard Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, everybody was in there.
Okay.
And they tied all of it into the alien storyline, including Marilyn Monroe's death. They basically attributed that to JFK opened up to her about some of the alien stuff. She knew things she shouldn't know, so they had to have her.
So did the
taken out.
alien episodes like have an ending? Or did it kind of
did,
stop?
it had an ending, but I was so unsatisfied with that part of the season that I don't even remember how it ended.
Yeah.
I know it ended. I don't remember how. It didn't tie in with the vampires. I know that.
Yeah.
I remember watching the end credits roll and I'm like, when are the vampires coming out? Oh, we're done? Oh, okay. Never mind. So I don't remember. That was not my favorite season.
Yeah.
I will say,
weird.
and I forgot to mention this dude, Macaulay Culkin was in the first half of Double Feature, the vampire part.
Okay.
He was in there, and you know what? I think he needed a long break from the public eye so that he could finally shrug off the Home Alone thing and come back. And
Yeah.
and he came back and was fantastic in this role. He was great. I hope he does more
So
seasons.
I should
of
watch
this.
it for that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He was really, really good. I hope he comes
Because all I
back
can see
and
is
does more
picturing
stuff.
him is the slapping of the face and the scream from Home Alone.
You won't even see him that way at all. He just he owns this role and he does a great job. I hope that they bring him back for more seasons. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll do another one of these where we can catch up on even more seasons and more history that they weaved in there. So we've had 2 episodes now of all the real people and real events that American Horror Story has drawn inspiration from. Were there any of these that really surprised you in any way?
Well, it's surprising that they tried to make Richard Ramirez as like somebody you should like.
Yeah. And I can't even say for sure that they tried to make him somebody that you should like, but the fact that he was somebody's love interest on the show.
Yeah.
More than one, because he had a like a flirtation, sexy interaction with the camp counselor too. So there was more than one person that they just don't. No.
But then, what was the question?
Anything that surprised you of the things that were based on reality?
The Countess.
Yes.
Like
there's
her reign of terror.
I always refer back to the morbid episodes, and I know I should get some sort of like commission for pimping their show all the time, but
maybe a little.
Yeah, they did an episode about the Countess, and the really funny thing about that is one of the hosts of the show is a autopsy technician, and it's Elena. And she was talking about the fact that they say the Countess bathed in the blood of girls. And as a autopsy technician, she was giving the science of how difficult that would actually be. Because like, how are you going to drain them? You would have to like cut their artery directly over a tub to catch it.
Yeah.
And you are going to need like more than one, you know. Maybe she just like splashed a little on her face. I don't know, but that would be hard
Yeah.
to actually bathe in the blood. But there was a
Yeah.
scene in an episode of Outlander where, girl, you need to get caught up.
I need to. I'm telling you.
One of the other time travelers was bathing in blood. We don't know if it's human, but she was bathing in blood as well. So
Wait,
apparently
there's
it-
more than one time traveler in Outlander?
Insert
telling you.
exasperated sigh. Yes,
I need
there's
to catch
many
up.
time travelers in Outlander.
I freaking love Outlander, but I have not caught up. And
Well, let's see. The season that just finished, as of right now, we know there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As of right now, we know of at least 7
oh goodness.
time travelers. And that's not
So-
even going by the books. That's just the show.
Oh, so you haven't read the books at all.
We're going to have to do a books versus show of Outlander too.
Like, actually, I should say, I should know that there's more than one time traveler because I know I met the other one in the second season. We're getting like way
Yes.
off topic now, but yeah. Like, I met
To be
her.
clear, I'm always about 2 sentences away from just going on an Outlander tirade. So-
I mean, Jamie Fraser, come on.
Oh, God bless him. Ah,
We need to send his mom a fruit basket.
I know. Just
Thank
a
you.
thank you card, maybe some nut muffins. Thank you.
Ah,
Thank you for bringing him into the world.
yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I think that's
Takeaway from the show is no bloodbaths, no sexualizing serial killers.
unless it's Dexter Morgan.
But he's a fake one,
That's right. That's right.
He's-
He's fake.
fictitious.
Yes.
not
And he
like-
only killed bad people.
Yeah, like I had a really hard time watching Ted Bundy's Netflix
Yes.
thing that they put Zac Efron. I love Zac Efron.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, you cannot like him. You cannot like him.
No. Yeah, I get that. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
but I mean, they did that on purpose because he had this charm.
Exactly. And
So,
Bundy did.
yeah,
And he's another one that had women sending him stuff left and right.
all the time. He even
Yeah.
got somebody pregnant in jail.
You just want to like shake these women. Do you not understand his crimes?
Right.
Do you not understand what he did? Do you think if you
Right.
did end up with him, you're going to end up any different than these women that were thrown
Right.
and dead?
Killed and,
Yeah, thrown dead somewhere. Yes.
No.
So, yeah, don't sexualize serial killers. Don't take baths in blood.
Yep.
And watch anything that Lady Gaga is in.
Well,
Are we going to say it?
we're gonna say it.
Not House of
Not
Gucci.
House of Gucci.
Not House of
Ew.
Gucci. And it wasn't her fault.
No, she acted the shit out of it,
Yes,
but
she did. But it
wasn't
just-
her. It was the movie itself.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the script, and
Yeah,
it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
She acted the shit
whole
out of it.
Storyline is like the actual story is
Ye-
better than the movie.
It is. It is. Listen
Yeah.
to a podcast about it. It's fantastic. Read a book
Yeah.
about it. It's great. But it's just somehow it didn't come to screen the way
No.
it should have.
No.
So not Gaga's fault.
No. Nope, I don't blame
Hashtag
her.
not Gaga's fault.
But watch anything else that
Watch
Gaga's
anything
in.
else that she's in, just not that.
Yeah.
All right. That is all of our American Horror Story for this time.
for now. Until they
Yes.
make more.
Then we'll do a catch up scene. Or,
Maybe we can do
episode.
like little mini episodes when each new season comes out.
That's right. We should. Oh, and another thing we need to remind our listeners of, we are still looking for listener tales of if you have any creepy slumber party games that you played when you were growing up and maybe something weird, funny, unusual happened. We want to hear your stories.
Scares you.
Exactly. We want to hear those.
Grandma.
Maybe you saw something appearing in the mirror. Maybe something, there was something. Yeah. We want to hear those stories. So you can send those to us at themimesispodcast@gmail.com. And who knows, you might hear your story on one of our episodes. As soon as we get enough together, we'll do one of those.
Yes.
And as we wrap it up, I'm going to go with an easy quote this time. And this might actually become my cheating way of ending with a quote because I love it. And I could just change it as we go, is love the art in yourself. Unless the art in yourself tells you to bathe in blood. And ignore the art in yourself.
It's going to be on a shirt too.
Yep.
No bathing in blood.
No bathing in blood. All right. Until next time, everyone. We love you. Bye.
Bye.